More than half of all companies globally are family-owned or operated. Family businesses contribute 70% of the world's GDP and account for 65% of jobs. Their voices are important. Their stories must be told. Brought to you by the award-winning publication, Tharawat magazine. This is the Family Business Voice with your host, Ramya El-Agami.
Resisting automation in favor of craftsmanship. The story of Henri Willig Cheese. Based out of Katwoude, the Netherlands, Martin Willig is part of the second generation of a family that has been processing quality cheeses for over 40 years. In the highly competitive international cheese market, Henri Willig Cheese has found its recipe for success, the right mix of craftsmanship and family values. We had the opportunity to speak with Martin Willig, finance director of Henri Willig Cheese, about the importance of family, business culture and craftsmanship for preparing world-class cheese. Enjoy this episode with Martin. So Martin, it's such a pleasure talking to you because you guys stand for such an important Dutch tradition, really, and what you're doing with Henri Willig. And I think that it would be really, really great for us to understand a little bit more about the history of your family business. If you wouldn't mind, in your own words, telling us a bit more about it.
Yeah, it's a long story, but I can tell you some things about it, of course. It started actually with my parents. They had a dairy farm. They took it over from my grandparents. Yeah, my father was thinking, I'm not going to milk cows forever and ever because I want to do more things than that in my life. So in 1974, my father took a course in cheese production. He finished that and he started to produce his own cheese from our own milk. And he opened up a little shop at the dairy farm. And we had the luck, we are living in near Amsterdam, so it's a very touristic area. And we also had the luck that family in Edam, which is close to us, they were retiring and they were sending the groups of people as tourists to us. And so the first bus with tourists came to our shop and they sold us out. So everything was sold out immediately. It was the beginning of the company. So they soon started to produce more and more cheese, and the shop grew bigger and bigger. In the 90s of the last century, we opened up another farm store, and the third one. And since 2007, 2008, we opened up shops in Amsterdam.
Wow.
So that's when we really started to grow with the shops. And nowadays, we have 25 shops in the Netherlands. We opened up our first international store last year in Vienna, Austria. And recently, since a couple of weeks, we opened up a shop in Munich, Germany. So we are trying to internationalize our company. Yeah.
I think, first of all, it's such cheese is a very competitive market in the Netherlands, right? And it is very competitive in the other markets that you've expanded to as well. So what do you feel like made you guys stand out, made you guys so successful from the beginning? Like, what do you think it is that your parents did and what you then took on? How were you guys different from the beginning?
Well, everybody can make cheese, and in Holland we are famous for our cheese. Not only us, but all the other companies. But we do look for we are looking for the best milk. We produce the best cheese. We think we have a story to tell as well. We are a real family-based company, and we see that a lot of competitors, they created a brand, but they don't produce cheese, or they a big corporation that has no person to attach to it. And we managed to have the family style in the cheese. We see that the people enjoy the story, and I think that's also important.
So key ingredients, good stories, good cheese, they go well together. That's an excellent analysis of a competitive strategy. I like it. I think that there must be more to it though as well. So you're saying family is a big ingredient for you guys, for your success, and you're underlining it very clearly that you're a family business. For you, when you were growing up and watched your parents build this, what was it like for you? Did you know from the get-go that you wanted to be part of it, or did you first do other things?
We grew up with the shop and the dairy farm. So since we were little, we helped out our parents, and if we sat at the dinner table, the day was discussed. So as a child and as you grow up, you hear those conversations, and it's very important, I think, for working in a company that you already know the situations that you can have in a company and how you manage that. We were front row seats we had about how that works. I think that's very important. I have two brothers. The eldest one, Jacob, he knew pretty much from the beginning that he didn't want to work in the company. Nowadays, he is working at the company, but so we pull him in. And my other brother, Wiebe, he's the CEO. He started in working at Accenture for a while. And once in 2002, the company was a little bit struggling with the financial department, and then he was asked to help in the company. So he started in the company in 2002, and now he's the CEO. And I worked. I studied because I'm a little bit younger than my brothers. So I studied food science, and once I finished that, I was working at a vegetable processing company. But in 2007, I was also asked, can you help our company now, because we can use some help. So.
And your parents are still working with you guys, or?
They are sort of retired. So like the daily business, they don't manage the daily business. That's we do that now. The special projects, we are trying to build an experience center in a dairy farm. Yeah, my father wants to help think about what's the best solution and how to. It's his dream, so we let him do that project. We always talk about work, and he's still making his hours.
Okay, I see. Yeah. So it's really interesting. You're talking about your brothers and yourself. So you all have very different backgrounds that you bring together, that you bring to the business. Yeah. And it's interesting. So you yourself have specialized in food as well as a study. And this, of course, today, it's such a big discussion, isn't it? To be in the food industry, because the consumers' focus has shifted massively. People are much more aware, want to know much more about what goes into the things that they're eating. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about, first of all, the kind of skills that go into cheese making for you today, and how it works. And also tell us a little bit more about how you guys are standing out in terms of how you make your product in comparison to your competitors.
Yeah, well, if you see the cheese production nowadays, big companies, the 0.3% of the milk in the Netherlands, we make cheese of it. So there are competitors that are enormous. And you see that those companies have everything automated at a level that you only have to push a button. And you don't have to think about the process of making cheese. It's you have to push a button and then something will work. And then if you see a green sign, then it's okay. And if you see a red sign, ask someone else. And at our company, it's small scale. And the people that work here, they have to know about what they're doing. And that's a big difference. And we see that also we are looking for cheese makers, that it's very difficult to get the right people, because we don't need button pushers. We need people that know what they are doing. Mm-hmm. And we also, nowadays, we have our own academy, Henri Willig Academy. So we can educate our people, not only the cheese makers, but also the people in the shops, what's important and what they have to do and how. So that's what we do. Yeah.
Are people interested in these kind of careers? Because a lot of people, we speak to a lot of craftsmanship family business, because of course they're family businesses typically. Yeah. But tell us, do you find it hard to get a next generation interested in this kind of work, or has it been traditionally easy for you guys to find people who want to be trained in this particular skill?
That's a good question. It's a difficult answer, I think. I see the people, the people that are finishing their education, they do like to work at a smaller company, the really big companies. They want to add value to a company and make themselves feel important in the company. That's what we can help them with. But the people that are studying, they are not studying the food production careers. They are more focused on ICT or consultancy. So there's still some difficulties in getting the right people. But the people that we have, they are very good. So we're happy with them.
What has changed for you since you guys internationalized? Has it been a big difference? Because you went from, as you said, so your advantages are that people know that you're family owned and you have the cozy feeling, you have the handcrafted feeling. So how do you guys like work together with your brothers to make sure that that culture, that feeling also is apparent in Vienna now and in Munich? So how do you go about preserving that across internationalization?
Also through our academy. So myself or Wiebe makes a presentation to the people that are in training. And we tell about the company and what is important for us and how it started and where we want to go to. And that's the start of the career at us. So the people, we call it Henri Willig so that's for everybody in the company, not only for people that are working at the cheese production, but also in the shops, but also the technicians, and everybody has the possibility to do that course. We also have the brand, the Henri Willig brand. We put it on the cheese, but also on the cheese accessories. Our shops in Amsterdam and Munich and Vienna and Maastricht, they all look the same. So we copy the shop that is the Cheese and More shops, and the ones in Vienna are exactly the same as in the Netherlands. So that's how we. That's also important. Like if you have a totally different shop in another country, then it's more difficult to educate the people how we want them to work. Yeah.
So it's interesting how before you mentioned also so I asked you why you think what kind of skills go into making cheese, and you were mentioning that a lot of the big cheese manufacturers in the Netherlands, but also elsewhere, it's now a push of a button. It's all highly automated. So they've used technology to automate, to go into mass production, obviously, of cheese, which we know. But then, so you guys didn't do that, and you don't intend to do that, I believe, this being your competitive advantage. But what kind of technology is today changing your game, though? So how is technology helping you, and what kind of technology is also a threat to your current business? How do you deal with the fast pace of technological change as well that we're facing today? And how do you feel like that feeds into your business model?
We look for opportunities. So if you see the possibilities like a web shop, we opened up a web shop in 1999 already, and we see the growth every year. So you can see it as a problem, but you can also see it as an advantage. And nowadays, back in the 80s, then somebody came to the Netherlands for a holiday, and that was his only visit to the Netherlands in his life. Mm-hmm. And today, somebody visits Holland and he sees our product and he can buy it online. So and you can buy today, and in a few days you have the cheese at your doorstep. So there are major possibilities, like advantages that we see. And on the other hand, the big companies can invest a lot in materials or in processing or whatever. We have to choose in what we do, but it's also if you have a big company, then you have the same problems also, because you have a budget and you have a lot of layers to pass to make an investment. So
of course,
because we are a small company, we can decide fast. So
which is an advantage, of course.
Yeah, of course,
absolutely. Yeah. But then that comes then down to the relationship between you and your brothers, of course. So we're quite curious to understand how does this work? So what is it like working with your brothers? You're the youngest, so can be a very tough spot to be in, as my sister reminds me every day. What was it like for you to join the company working with your brothers then? And did your relationship with them change when you started working with them, or not at all?
No, the relationship changed the most, I think, when everybody grew up. Like when you're a child, and I was the little brother, and once you're like 18 or 20, then you just as tall as the rest now, and
it's important.
It's important, and but yeah, so then everything comes to the same level, and I am focused on the internal organization. So I really like to. I see a business as a big number of processes that are working together. So I'm focused on the internal organization, that everybody is working efficiently, and so we don't have too much costs. And my brother Wiebe is really focused on the commercial part, like looking for possibilities to expand and to where can we open shops, and how can we build on a brand. And, so that's what Wiebe does very good. And that's so everybody, and Jacob, he's focused on the ICT, so he does really the specialized ICT projects, and he likes that, and he does that the best. We all have different interests and different capabilities, and
Do you think your parents secretly planned that this would happen, or like, do you feel like they manipulate you?
If they did, we didn't notice. So they did a good job.
Smart.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. It's I don't know how it became like this, but I'm happy with it the way it is. So they did a good job.
They did. That's really great. More cheese for everybody. We're very happy, of course. But so tell us a little bit, like, so you and your brothers, have you guys discussed, so what is the next step? So you're internationalizing, like, what are the things that you guys are excited about in the near and far future? Where do you want to take this?
Well, we are also our employees. We see it as our own family. So we call it the cheese family. If you look at it from that way, we want all the customers also to feel like a part of the cheese family. So we are trying to 2 years time, we want to have an experience center, a cheese experience at the place where it all started, near Amsterdam, Katwoude, where you can see the farm with the cows. But also the cheese production process, and you can taste the cheeses and a restaurant and everything to make the customer feel happy. Personally, I think it would be great if everybody that comes through the experience, they leave with a feeling like I feel part of the cheese family. So that would be very nice. Yeah, we want to make the everybody fan of our cheese. And eventually, for the long term, it would be really a dream of us to see that we become the number one cheese brand of the world. That's it's a big step, we know.
I like it. But, why not?
Sure. Yeah, you have to set the marker. So. Yeah.
Number one cheese brand in the world, indeed. And of course, like, you know, you have the advantage that you're Dutch, so by definition already we make the best cheese, right? Like, so it's not even a discussion. No. So Martin, thank you so much for the interview. This was amazing, really. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much as well.
Thank you for listening to the Family Business Voice. Subscribe to our channels now on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, or Spotify to be notified of our weekly episodes.